Welcome to the deep dive. Today, you've sent us digging into a really interesting one, the story of Avalonianus.
Yeah, it's a prehistoric archosaur with quite a tangled history.
Exactly. So our mission today is to sort of untangle that history, figure out what went on, and, see what the science says now.
It's a great example of how science works, actually. The whole process of discovery and correction.
Okay, so let's kick things off. Where does the story start? 1898.
That's right, 1898. Harry Seeley, he described some fossils, bones and teeth from the late Triassic in England.
And he called it Avalonia.
He did. He proposed the genus Avalonia and also the species name Sanfordi. So Avalonia sanfordi.
But Avalonia, that name hit a snag, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Turns out the name Avalonia was already taken. Walcott had used it for another organism back in 1889.
Ah, so it was preoccupied, as they say in taxonomy. You can't have two different things with the same genus name.
Precisely. First come, first served with names.
So what happened then? Someone had to fix it.
Yep. Fast forward a bit to 1961. Oscar Kuhn stepped in and renamed the genus Avalonianus.
Okay, Avalonianus. Did the species name Sanfordi stick?
It did, yeah. So it became Avalonianus sanfordi. Kuhn just sorted out the genus name issue.
Right. And what did they think Avalonianus was back then? A dinosaur?
Uh-huh. The initial thinking, based on the bones Seeley had, was that it was some kind of prosauropod.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of those early long-necked plant eaters.
Seems straightforward enough at first, but then things got complicated.
Very complicated. This is where the big twist comes in. Later studies showed Avalonianus wasn't actually one single animal.
Not one animal. You mean like mixed up bones?
Exactly. It was what paleontologists call a chimera.
Okay, define chimera for us in this context, like mythological beasts.
Huh, not quite. In paleontology, it means remains from different types of animals that were mistakenly thought to belong to just one creature.
So a mix-and-match fossil. What were the different parts in Avalonianus?
Well, the crucial work, largely by Peter Galton in the 80s, showed that the teeth, Seeley described, probably weren't from a prosauropod at all.
Oh, so what were they from?
They likely belonged to a non-dinosaurian archosaur, possibly an ornithosuchian, kind of a distant cousin to dinosaurs and crocs,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe, just maybe, an early theropod, a meat-eating dinosaur, but definitely not a prosauropod.
Wow, okay, so the teeth are one thing. What about the other bones Seeley found, the postcranial stuff?
Right, the bones from the neck down,
He's just-
basically.
Yeah, those were actually from a prosauropod.
Seriously, so part dinosaur, part something else?
Kind of, yeah. Those prosauropod bones, they eventually got their own name. Camelotia.
Camelotia, got it. So Avalonianus was basically teeth from one creature, bones from another.
That's the gist of it. A real paleontological puzzle.
So where does that leave Avalonianus today? Is it still a valid name?
It's shaky, to say the least. It's considered a nomen dubium, a doubtful name. Highly dubious, maybe even invalid.
Why dubious? Because it was a mix. Partly that, but also, and this is a big problem, the original teeth Seeley based Avalonianus on, they're lost.
Lost, oh no. The holotype specimens.
Yep, the key evidence is gone.
Yeah.
Without those specific teeth, it's incredibly difficult, maybe impossible, to say for sure what Avalonianus even was.
Wow. Lost fossils. That really complicates things.
It really does.
Okay, our sources also mentioned Avalonia as a synonym, which makes sense now, but they also listed Picrodon with a question mark. What's that about?
Ah, right. Seeley, in that same 1898 paper, also mentioned another type of tooth he called Picrodon. There's a possibility, a question whether the teeth originally called Avalonia might actually be the same kind of thing as Picrodon.
So Picrodon might be the real name for those teeth?
Potentially. But again, with the Avalonianus holotype teeth lost, making that definitive connection is really tough. It's speculative.
What a tangled web. So, summing this all up, the story of Avalonianus is less about a specific dinosaur and more about, well, how science figures things out.
Exactly. It's a perfect illustration of the scientific process. You start with evidence, you form a hypothesis like Seeley, thinking he had a new prosauropod.
But then new evidence comes along or new analysis like Galton's work.
Right. And you have to revise, sometimes drastically. What looked like one thing turns out to be two, or even more, mixed together. The picture refines over time.
So, for you listening, maybe think about this. How often do we first encounter something complex and see it as one single thing?
Yeah, like our initial understanding might just be a composite, a kind of chimera of different ideas or parts.
And it takes that deeper dive, that closer look to really tease apart the different threads and see what's actually going on. Avalonianus is a great reminder of that.
Absolutely. Science is messy sometimes, but that's how we get closer to the truth.
Thanks for digging into this one with us.